Good evening, everyone, and also to our residents chiming in online. Welcome and Happy New Year. Well, it's certainly not the way we wanted to start off the new year, having to conduct our meetings virtual, but those are the guidelines under these challenging circumstances. With the rising number of cases, I encourage everyone to remain safe in your surroundings, and we will win this COVID battle together. On a lighter side, I guess, one of the benefits of doing our meetings virtual is that I can go from wearing a suit to wearing my sweats. So anyway, the agenda is there before you. Can I have a motion to approve, please?
Moved by Councillor Buckle.
Moved by Councillor Buckle, seconded by
Councillor Crawley.
Councillor Crawley. All those in favour?
Aye. Aye.
Those against? Motion is carried. Minutes of the meeting from December the 14th. Are there any errors or omissions? Okay, if not, the table will adopt them as presented. Business arising. Okay, if there's no business arising, we will now move on to the mayor's update. A few items here. The first one I'll start off with is our operational review. All of council agreed that we're going to proceed with this review early in the new year. So we're going to get this process underway right away. Basically, this will be a three-step process, and the first step is to appoint a committee to draft up the terms of reference. The second step, once it's approved by council, the terms of reference, we will then issue an RFP, which is a request for proposals. And the third step is to review the RFP and award that to the successful company who will be commissioned to do this piece of work. So tonight, I'm assigning the three councillors for that task, and they will be Councillor Windsor, Councillor Buckle, and Councillor Bruce King. So you guys have your homework to do. The other item I'd like to address is our communication plan, and this was started by the previous council, and they did a great piece of work with that, and we're going to continue on to actually get the plan put in place to have it executed. And our goal with this plan is to improve and enhance communications with our residents in an effort to be as open and transparent as possible. So this is going to be a piece of work that's going to take a bit of time, but I have a committee put in place, which will be Deputy Mayor Woodford and Councillors Crawley and Councillor Sadie King. So ye folks will be tasked with doing that piece of work, and we look forward to the final product. The third item I have here is our ongoing pothole problem. As many of you are aware, we've had a lot of discussion on social media and whatnot regarding a fairly big pothole down on Buddy Irving on the south side. And, even though it's a small problem, it turned out to be one of those issues that takes a lot of time in order to get it resolved. I was on the phone with the CAO because I was trying to find out if our own staff could go down and try to do something to mitigate that problem. When it was brought to my attention, I actually went down there the other day and took some pictures. And while I was there was a couple of cars actually drove over the pothole. And I said, oh my, I said, you're going to have problems with your vehicle. And apparently on social media, people have complained with the fact that they've had busted tires and bent rims and whatnot. And no doubt, it was a fairly big pothole, and unfortunately, there was no advance warning, and a lot of vehicles before they knew what they were in on top of it. So I phoned the CAO to see what our own staff could do to, as a temporary measure to try to mitigate the problem to the best of our ability. But unfortunately, we were advised, and I think this is important for the public to understand how this whole thing works in dealing with the province. Route 60, as we know, is a responsibility of the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure. So they have clearly advised us that it's not our responsibility, and we are not to try to go down and fix those problems, as bad as they may be. And, because if we do try to mitigate the problems by putting in, asphalt or coal patch, as you would use this time of the year, that if anything were to happen as a result of that we could actually assume liability. So they strongly warned us not to do that. So, given the situation, the CAO did phone the foreman and expressed, the seriousness of this whole situation, because it clearly is a safety issue. And I actually witnessed vehicles who veered around it and had to go out in the other lane. No different than if you had an ambulance responding to an emergency call that ended up going over that and busting a tire, or the fire department or whatever. And no question, it is a serious safety issue. So thankfully, the foreman did grant the town permission to go down and put some sandbags into the hole, which, by the way, it took 6 sandbags to fill that hole. And while the CAO was on the phone speaking with the foreman, I was on the phone speaking with our MHA's office. And she, in turn, sent off an email to the supervisor immediately. And they did get back to us and said that they would be up as soon as the weather allows. And today I noticed that there is a sign there advising of potholes. And hopefully they will be up in the next day or so, whenever the weather breaks, and put some asphalt down into the hole and get it fixed. But the point is, we all know that this winter has been a bit, it's an unusual winter. We're experiencing several days of extremely cold temperatures with snow, and then a few days later, we're getting warm temperatures on the plus side, and we've had a significant amount of rainfall in January. And as a result, we're going to continue to see more and more potholes arise. That's the reality. And I think that we have to reach some common ground with the Department of Transportation that when these problems arise and it's brought to our attention, that without having to pick up the phone and try to get hold of somebody from the Department of Transportation and seek permission to do certain mitigation methods, that we know what we can automatically do. And I think then, we can have a couple of dozen sandbags on the ready. So when our staff are driving around and they do identify potholes that are starting to become serious, that they can mitigate that by putting these sandbags into the potholes. Because I can tell you, as we all know, and I drove around today, there's more and more potholes now starting to get bigger and bigger. So it's going to be an ongoing problem. And we've experienced this, especially in the spring of the year when temperatures are really up and down. So I think that we have to reach an agreement with the Department of Transportation in knowing what we're allowed to do automatically. And, I'm not critical of the Department of Transportation. I know, there's potholes, because I know that the MHA's office advised me the other day that she had upwards of 6 or 7 calls from different communities experiencing the same thing. The Department of Transportation only has so many resources to go around. They can't be everywhere all at one time. So, basically what we're doing is offering ways and means that we can actually help the department, help mitigate a problem temporarily until such time as they can get up with their crew and they can rectify these problems. So I think that we need to write a letter to the department and, like I said, come to common ground on what we know and what we're allowed to do under these extenuating circumstances. So, any questions or comments on that issue? No?
Councillor
Mayor
Windsor
Gooby?
here, Mayor Gooby.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, thank you for the update, and I'll touch on some of these subjects later in the meeting and the agenda under the infrastructure and public works.
Okay, thank you very much. And the other one is I'd like to offer congratulations to one of the very first startup companies which took up residence at the Beachhead Innovation Center and Suites, a startup hub located here at the Keogh building, Hubert A. Keogh Municipal Building. Just to give you a background, in 2016, RPM Aerial began with an idea and a dedicated goal to adapt to the needs of an evolving industry using drones as the key tool in their toolbox. Today, RPM, which is it's abbreviated for Remotely Piloted and Manned Aerial Services, is a Newfoundland and Labrador-based company that provides a variety of aerial surveys to the mineral exploration and mining industries across the province. For their innovation and determination, RPM Aerial Services are a most worthy recipient of the 2021 Service Provider of the Year from the Newfoundland branch of the Canadian Institute of Mining, Metallurgy and Petroleum. So on behalf of myself as mayor of the town, my council colleagues and management staff, I send most sincere congratulations to Brian Lundgren and his team. Be proud of the work you do, the team you have developed, and the difference you make because of what you have created. Continued success in the future. So that's certainly a good news story. And it's all happening out of our municipal building. So, any questions, comments on that? Okay, if not, we will move on to correspondence. I don't have any correspondence there. Do anybody else have anything that they would like to bring forward? Okay, if not, we will move on to planning and development update. So who would like to do that one?
That would be me.
Deputy Mayor, you're up.
Good evening, everybody. The Council of the Whole, we had a pre-meet on January 4th. And during that meeting, several key items were identified for all committees. But specifically with planning and development, the town plan review was prioritized. And once that is reviewed by planning and development, the next steps would be to review by council. They would review it as well as a planning consultant. We would finalize the document and then it would be presented for public consultation. So over the next few months, our goal is to work towards completion of this plan. There are several active business development and residential applications in planning and development right now. The committee is working with the applicants to complete the requirements needed for approval by council. Our next scheduled meeting for planning and development is January 19th. It will be the first one that we had in 2022. So during our next public council meeting, we'll have a more detailed update to give at that time. I don't know, Councillor Windsor, do you have any additions or comments or anything on that?
No, nothing further from me. Thank you.
Okay, before I finish up, then we do have a couple of motions this evening. So be it resolved to table and approve the attached permit listing. 3 permits were issued from December 13th to the 31st, 2021. Permit number 12-0475-21 to 12-0477-21. And those include permits for sign occupancy and new residents. So moved.
Okay, moved by the Deputy Mayor, seconded by?
Councillor Windsor will second.
seconded by Councillor Windsor. Further discussion? If not, all those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Contramanded, motion carries.
And the second is a residential application for 7 Saul Drive. It's the zoning is a residential medium density. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood approve the above application in principle, subject to the Town of Holyrood development regulations. So moved.
Okay, moved by the Deputy Mayor, seconded by
Councillor Buckle.
Councillor Buckle. Further discussion? So that's zoned RMD, so everything is straightforward.
Yeah, Councillor Windsor here. For clarity for the rest of council and anyone who is listening in, that particular application will be similar and consistent with the other developments of lots on the same street. So we'll have a similar plot plan, look and appeal. So it is relatively straightforward. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any other comments? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion is carried. Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor. That's all your points?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay. All right, now we'll move on to recreation and community events. So will that be Councillor Sadie King or Councillor Buckle? Who's speaking to that first?
Councillor Buckle will start off.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year to everyone. Just a couple of quick points for recreation. We did meet last week. The committee met last week, and there's lots of activity happening in recreation and community events. And I'm working on a lot of files and trying to move some stuff through that department for our recreation facilities and stuff for the summer. But just a couple of quick points. As everyone's aware, we have suspended all the activities that were booked through the Star to Sea, and that was in our winter flyer where we're using the Star to Sea to house some of those events. But with the restrictions now, we have suspended all the activities at Star for now. Also, the planning for the Crystal Carnival is delayed as we wait further developments of the current alert level and public health restrictions. So we're just waiting now to see what the province does on the next level when they do update. So we got a hold put on the Crystal Carnival. Hopefully things may change and we will be able to get the Crystal Carnival off, but we'll have to wait and see what the province says first. You know what I mean? It'd be nice for people to get out and enjoy the Crystal Carnival after all the COVID. And, a lot of people enjoy it with their family and their friends in the community and the community spirit. So we'll have to wait on that to see how the restrictions roll out. And the last point for me in recreation and community events is that we have extended the Christmas lights at the swim park until January the 16th, and that's lit between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. each night. So, if anyone wants to get out and see it, it was lit during Christmas, but people are busy during Christmas and may have not got up to see it. It's beautiful up there. So, and nice evenings now and people looking for something to do. So that has been extended. So if you never got up to see it, or if you did see it and want to get up and walk around the park again, please enjoy it. But we're going to extend that until January 16th, Sunday, January 16th. So that's all for me. I'm not sure if Councillor King has anything to add.
Nothing to add, Councillor King?
There's nothing really to add. Curtis has covered what we talked about in our meeting.
Okay.
But we can't make any decisions on Crystal Carnival after another announcement comes from the province on the 17th. And it may be in our best interest at that time, if there's no further development with COVID and things stay the same. My suggestion then was to cancel the Crystal Carnival and put more effort into our Squid Fest this summer.
Yes, yeah. Well, we all know there's a lot of uncertainty happening now with the case levels and everything else. So I think it's a safe bet to say that this is not going away anytime soon. So there's going to be a lot of restrictions there. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but That's the reality of the situation in which we're faced. Okay, thank you very much, folks. Anybody else have any questions or comments on recreation? Okay, if not, we will move on to infrastructure and public works. Councillor Windsor and Councillor
Sounds good. Yeah, for sure. It's Councillor Windsor speaking, and a few things there, and then I'll pass on to my colleague, Councillor Sadie King, for any of her comments as well. So, good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, residents, and Happy New Year, of course. A lot of files for infrastructure and public works start the year. We had some 20 items, I believe, to tackle, in the first quarter. We met yesterday as a committee for our first committee meeting of this year. The members, Mayor Gooby, Councillor Sadie King, Director Robert Stacey, and CAO Gary Corbett. And we decided it was best to discuss the highest priority items that have some near-term upcoming deadlines or some high-profile importance associated with them, and defer the other items to the subsequent committee meeting. So I'll talk about three things. Three things I think are the most important that we discussed at the committee yesterday. One being the North Side Road PRV, two being the Harbour Main Maloney's River watershed, and three, Provincial Route 60, which Mayor Gooby, you've touched on in your mayor update at the beginning of the meeting. So on the North Side Road PRV, I won't provide the background or the history too extensively. I mean, you've heard me explain that at previous public council meetings and committee meetings, and the purpose of the project is well understood and very important to the residents in Town of Holyrood to prevent overpressure scenarios and leaks that happen, become very costly, and certainly like loss of service of a critical thing such as water is unwanted. So the project update is that we have received bids on project execution, so that they were under review by the engineering firm Innovative Engineering. It was yesterday, in fact. And we've seen some of that information. It did come in a little bit higher than anticipated. However, what I will say is that it's not unsurprising, given the state of affairs today. We are seeing increased labor, construction costs, and supply chain and material costs everywhere in our lives right now. So that's under review. Maybe we'll test and challenge a few little things there, but we'll review that. And construction wouldn't be planned to start, obviously, until the springtime anyway. So that's just to keep everybody informed on that. And I know some residents have reached out about the project, some who don't understand the project, and some who are very much looking forward to the project because they are experiencing leaks or loss of service themselves. So that's one. Second item is the Harbour Main Maloney's River watershed amendment. And what I'll say there is that we're seeking clarity with the province and water resources management about that. And essentially, the Maloney's River watershed does extend now into the Town of Holyrood's municipal planning area including Burnt Pond Road. So, we seek to collaborate and discuss with the province. Province has, acknowledged, maybe that we haven't been duly consulted during the amendment process. So we'll continue to work that issue and collaborate with the province and our neighbors, neighboring municipalities, of course. And last but not least is Provincial Route 60, which the mayor touched on. And certainly we all know the condition of the roads everywhere in our town and province these days, and they're deplorable, frankly. Timing is good, though, Mr. Mayor, and the council and the residents. So I'll say is that staff have brought forward an opportunity. The provincial government is seeking input for highways projects in its multi-year roads plan. And that plan considers road projects that are based on safety and traffic, social and economic impacts, evidence and input from the general public and their staff engineers. Key point there being the general public, and I'll get to that in a moment. So we all know Provincial Route 60 is terrible condition, many potholes posing safety risk, vehicle damage to the motoring public, and it's one of our primary routes in that town. And it really does require some attention. So the town is going to respond to this call by the closing date of Monday, January 17th, and with a focus on what we feel as a committee our number one priority is Provincial Route 60. Now, with many municipalities facing the same infrastructure challenges and essentially competing for funding opportunities, we are encouraging residents to bolster our application by providing their input via a link that we will provide on the town's social media. And residents, please respond to that. And with your feedback and support, we hope that we can get some funding and really bolster our application and improve the condition of Route 60. Furthermore, we're going to request a meeting with the responsible provincial minister of transportation to discuss Route 60. And I have a motion that I would like to read, and it's all about Route 60. And unless I can go to the motion right now, unless anybody wants to take the opportunity to ask me any questions or comment on the matter, please do so. What do you think, Mr. Mayor?
That's your call, sir.
Okay, I think the issue is well understood, and I'm just going to plow on and make the resolution. Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood forward a meeting request to Honourable Elvis Lovelace, Minister of Transportation Infrastructure, to attend a meeting with Council and Town of Holyrood to discuss the multi-year provincial roads plan and the impact on Route 60. The meeting will be an opportunity to have an open dialogue on transportation issues within the Town of Holyrood that are impacting the safe, reliable road network for the motoring public. So moved.
Okay, moved by Councillor Windsor. Could I have a seconder, please?
Councillor
Deputy
Buckle.
Mayor.
Seconded by Councillor Buckle. Further discussion?
Yes, Councillor King. I would also ask if Councillor Windsor, maybe we should also invite our MHA to that meeting as well.
Okay,
Yeah, not a bad idea.
that's something that we'll certainly consider. That Councillor King.
Thank you.
And I think this is a great idea. You know, as we discussed at that meeting the other day, it's all right to write letters, but you don't get the same impact, you know, writing letters than you do by having, you know, a face-to-face discussion. We've done it in the past with several other ministers, and when you had the opportunity to actually meet with the minister, and it could be virtual, I don't know, it depends on the time that we can get in to meet with the minister. We may be able to do a face-to-face, but we will be able to communicate verbally, and we've always found that it's much more productive, and you can actually have the opportunity to really explain the situation. And I think they have a better understanding and appreciation of where we're coming from on this. And we've had tremendous success in the past when we've had the opportunity to meet with ministers, or in some cases, deputy ministers. So, the committee agreed this was the best route to take. And hopefully, he'll have our ear on this one in recognizing the significance of the bad shape of many sections of Route 60, especially on the south side. There's several sections there. Over North Arm, there's sections all throughout the community, and it's just as well to come in, get the work done, and then they're good to go then for several more years, rather than continuing on with patchwork year over year over year. So hopefully we'll have some success with this meeting with the minister. Okay, carry on, Councillor Windsor.
Oh, no, nothing further from me, Mr. Mayor, but I do want to go over to my colleague and co-chair committee member, Councillor Sadie King, for anything that matters that she feels I may have missed, or matters of importance that she would like to bring forward to council and residents.
Really, there's nothing else we talked about. That was what was discussed in our meeting yesterday. So I think you've covered what we discussed.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor King.
Okay, thank you, folks. And is there any other questions or comments on that resolution?
No, we just have to vote on the resolution.
Okay,
Correct.
we move to the vote.
Just
Okay.
before you go move to the vote there, Mr. Mayor, this is Councillor Buckle. If I could have just a quick comment there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think, I mean, this is a great way of trying to have a meeting with the minister and bring up how important Route 60 throughout Holyrood is, and I mean the issues and the potholes and the drainage issues too. Not only the potholes, but there's drainage issues that's causing erosion on side of the roads. But I think this is the right way, and we've done it in the past and in previous councils, as you're aware and you've indicated. And we've, we've done some good work with the provincial government on some roads that the provincial government owns in Holyrood, and one that comes to mind is the Summer Line. And there was a lot of work done on the Holyrood Access a few years back. But I think this is the way to do it. And I did have a note there, as Councillor Windsor indicated, about putting that link up on our town website there for, for more people. We're going to do it from the council side, but if the residents can weigh in on the roads multi-plan there and add their voice too. The more people that reach out, the better it will be too. So I think we're on the right track, and I think if the residents can come on side and follow that link that will be posted to the town website, I think it will help everyone at the end. Thank you.
Yeah, I certainly agree on that, Councillor Buckle. We're really reaching out to our residents to work with council on this. We can work collectively together, and because it is an expensive proposition here, no question. But when we all band together, the community and council, I think that we can yield positive results from this. Okay, if there's no more questions or comments, I will call for the vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion is carried. Okay, thank you, Councillor Windsor. Is that all your point, Councillor King? Is that all your points under Public Works and Infrastructure?
Yes, sir. Stay tuned for more in the next meetings.
Yeah, like you say, there's lots of items within that department to be dealt with over the coming weeks and months for sure. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we'll move on to business development and marketing, and the deputy mayor has agreed to do the update this week.
Thank you, Mayor Gooby. Our committee met on January 6th with the mayor and Gary Corbett, Marjorie Gibbons and myself in attendance. Several business applications were discussed at the time, and Marjorie is actively working with the proponents to finalise the details so those applications can move on to planning and development. There are certain things that we wanted to bring forward tonight. We've received 2 proposals for the land development identified as Oceana. So the committee will open the proposals this Friday, January 14th, and we will begin the evaluation process. Once the evaluation is complete by the committee, we may need to meet with the proponents before we engage discussion and recommendations from all of council. So that's the plan for this Friday. We're really interested to see what's in those envelopes and what the development will be for Oceana. The funding applications for summer students are due on January 25th, and Marjorie is looking at doing all of that. This funding is used to hire students to run the summer camp, the soccer program, Holy Cross Park, and different activities throughout the summer. So this funding, obtaining this funding is key to providing recreation during the summer months to not only the children, but to all of the residents of Holyrood. So we're looking forward to getting that in and seeing what funding we can get for the summer. And finally, the federal government has established a new program under its COVID-19 response for businesses. So Marjorie is going to forward that information out to all businesses in Holyrood to see if they're eligible. So I encourage, all businesses to take a look at your emails and to take a look at the regulations around these applications to see if you qualify. A lot of businesses are hurting in this COVID pandemic and need as much assistance as possible in order to continue operating. And, if you have any questions or if you need assistance with filling out any of these applications, please reach out to the business department, and Marjorie has agreed to help out anyone that needs assistance. And that's it for our Business Development Marketing Committee. I don't know, Mr. Mayor, if you want to add anything onto that.
Just one thing there, Deputy Mayor. As everybody's aware, the town sent out a COVID update in the mail a few days ago. So for those who may not have received that in their mail, just a reminder that they can go online under the town's website and they can view that town update. And basically, the COVID update is how it relates to the operations within the town, both inside from an administrative point of view and outside as well. A lot of good points there. So, like I said, if anybody had not received that flyer in the mail, they can go on our website and get that information. So that's it for me.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Is any other questions or comments on business development and marketing? Okay, if not, we will move on to public safety. Councillor Bruce or Councillor Buckle, who's leading that?
I have some points, and then I'll turn it over to Councillor Buckle if he has anything he would like to add. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, fellow councillors, staff, and of course, all the hundreds of people listening at home, and Happy New Year. The Public Safety Committee had our meeting yesterday, January 10th. Those people in attendance was myself, Councillor Buckle, Fire Chief Evan Woodford, and our CAO, Mr. Corbett. I'm just going to cover just a few of the points the key points that we discussed yesterday at our meeting. The first one will be with regards to the Wall of Honor. There are some pictures that are there, and I know the town building is closed now to the public, but I would just encourage people to have your pictures ready, and once the town opens back up for business, bring your pictures in. We've decided we're going to use the waiting room as you enter the main entrance as the area for the Hall of Honor. So when people come in, whether they're coming in to do business with the town or just coming in to do whatever, that's one of the first things people will be able to see there in the waiting room is all the different pictures. So that is in the process, and from the responses on social media, I think in the coming weeks and months that wall will be full. The next one is with regards to, and I know it'll come up later on in the meeting. We're starting the process now for a fourth full-time firefighter. That process will be started in the very near future. We also started with regards to applications to the government for fire department vehicles. The application process now runs from January to March, and it is our intent to put forward applications with regards to a new vehicle and equipment. So more to follow on that one as that application moves through the process. We also discussed the RCMP and having, with regards to having a meeting. That meeting will probably be done virtually, but it will be done in the very near future. We talked about speed. We talked about vandalism and other things that are going on. And the key to having RCMP involvement is people need to inform the RCMP. If you see people speeding on Route 60 or any of the other secondary routes, you should contact the RCMP and let them know, because they maintain a file, and their resources are dedicated to areas where they get the most complaints. So we encourage residents to report anything that they deem unlawful to the RCMP, and the RCMP in hand would be able to respond. The other thing that we also covered was Route 60. I know it was brought up by the mayor. It was brought up by Councillor Windsor. And it is a public safety concern, so I will bring it up again tonight. And the mayor did say it is the responsibility of Transportation and Works to maintain Route 60. But it's also our responsibility to inform government officials and the Department of Transportation and Works when there is potholes. So I encourage the residents of Holyrood, whether it be through emails or phone calls, to contact our MHA and contact the Transportation and Works, because there is a site on Transportation and Works where you can go in and report potholes. And if all else fails, open line is always a good avenue to vent your frustrations when it comes to potholes. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with somebody getting on the open line shows and telling them we have concerns out here in Holyrood with regards to potholes. And social media as well. Social media is a good way to let residents know where the potholes are, because that probably, by putting this on social media, probably saved a lot of rims and tires of people that are driving back and forth Route 60. So good job for people putting that out there and making other people aware of it. And back to the old thing what we discussed before, if you see something, say something. And the other thing is, maybe we have to start putting Route 60 in as an application for Atlantic Canada's worst roads. So anyway, that's all I have. And I would just at this time turn it over to Councillor Buckle if he has anything else that he would like to add.
Thank you, Councillor King. Only point that you outlined everything that we discussed in our meeting. But the only thing that I would like to put out there is, if anyone noticed, I noticed now going around, and I've identified a couple, but I noticed around town there's a lot of street lights out in certain areas, and there's people out walking and stuff just to get outside. I guess with the COVID, the restrictions on the go, people are walking out, and the evenings are still a bit shorter. So if anyone notices a pole light out, if they can notify the town, or if it's close to their house and they can go online to Newfoundland Power and submit the request to get it replaced. I know there's a few out and there's a few dark areas in the town, but even for councillors, if you notice one, if we can get them put in so that we can get them rectified. And it's also, you can use there's an app too, the Town of Holyrood got an app out too, for the street lights too, so we can win on that too. But I think if anyone knows about, if we can get them fixed, because we are paying for them, and they're there for a reason in areas that have been identified for dark areas. So if we can get those fixed, I think it'd be very important. And that's the only point that I got. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, folks. Any questions or comments on public safety? Okay, if there's no further comments, we will move on to corporate services and administration. So we have Councillor Crowley and Councillor Bruce.
Okay, I can jump in there, and then Bruce, Councillor King can come in if there's anything else that needs to be added. So we met on January 6th, 2022, CAO Gary Corbett, myself, Councillor Crawley, Councillor King, and Marie Searle, who's Director of Finance. And there was a whole plethora of things that we covered. I'll go down through a couple of them. The Counseling Operating Policy and Procedure document, we discussed about updating that. So we asked for each member of committees to review, highlight the areas of concern, because that's something that we would like to solidify and make sure we have an updated copy of our policy and procedures. We discussed municipal donations, and we're going to look into the future. We're going to draft a document based on what we know, what we've seen in other towns, and this is a document for a policy following municipal donations. The mayor has already commented on the operational review, which will take place in the coming months. Another point of concern is our strategic plan, which needs to be updated. We're going to focus on the 5 pillars. So we ask again that all committees review our current strategic plan draft and come back with recommendations. There's going to be a motion put forward today. Due to the nature of ATIP requests, access to information and protection of privacy, it's supposed to be transparent. So we are going to put a motion through that every time the town of Holyrood receives an ATIP request, that once the information has come to light, we are going to post it on our website. So that would be at holyrood.ca. And we follow through legal process and make sure that what needs to be redacted will be redacted to protect privacy concerns. But if one person is looking for it, that means probably more people are looking for it. So in the interest of transparency going forward, we will post that on our website if the motion passed tonight. We talked about the procurement document, which we're waiting on more direction from municipal affairs. One of the things that was commented on, I think it was business and development, was that the benefits you get from registering with the town as a business. So we are encouraging all businesses, including home-based run businesses, to ensure that you're registered with the town. And that will help you reap the benefits of things such as our newsletters and connections, and helping you fill out documentation and, availing of all those COVID restriction policies and options that they can have. So if we register with the town, you can be on that list. One of the other things is that our new fire department, they mentioned it in new firefighter position for our fire department. Again, Councillor King commented on this earlier for public safety, but we are putting forward a motion tonight to move ahead with the hiring process. We went out and got 3 quotes based on our RFP documentation that we have. We received 3 quotes. So we are putting a motion forward to go with our lowest bid, who can perform the work of hiring and following the process for hiring of that firefighter. Other than that, the other points of concern were mostly private matters between residents and council. So that's the main points of concern there that we discussed during our meeting. So if Councillor King has anything else he would like to input or add, he can go ahead before we go ahead with our motions.
No, Councillor Crowley, thank you. I'm good.
Okay, so from our accounts, be it resolved that accounts tabled in the amount of $141,457.31. That would be D00000229 to D00002337. Check numbers 42843 to 42875 be approved for payment. So moved.
Okay, moved by Councillor Crowley, seconded by
Deputy Mayor.
Seconded by the Deputy Mayor. Further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those against? Motion is carried.
Okay, we just to let you know, after paying all those checks, we do have a bank book balance of $2,416.23, which makes us feel a little bit better than our $200 one there last time we spoke. We are in the process of still collecting our taxes, and we got about $60,000 in prior and current taxes collected since the last time we met. Our next motion. ATIP requests. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood will post completed access to information requests, and that is received after January 12th, 2022, to our website, www.holyrood.ca. Posted information will include the ATIP request number, summary of the request received, copy of the final response letter to the applicant with all personal information removed, copy of any responsive records as provided to the applicant. Responses to requests for personal information will not be posted. In addition, the following general requests will not be posted online. Requests where it is too complex to complete the appropriate redactions prior to posting it online. For example, general requests where the applicant's information, either personal or business, is found throughout. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Crowley, seconded
Councillor
by
Windsor.
Councillor Windsor. Further discussion?
Yeah, I'll comment. I think it's an excellent initiative, and what we've heard learned in our consultation, with residents that, they want more transparency. And, council's done a lot of great things around that, communication plan being one of those items. But in terms of the ATIP, yeah, I mean, this is, to me, it's no brainer. We need to be more transparent as much as possible. And the reality is, if we're doing a good job as council and staff, and residents see that we're engaging them, executing the communication plan that's been drafted, and having more meaningful public consultations, the reality is you probably won't get many ATIP requests. But absolutely support this, and look forward to finding even more ways to engage our residents. Yep, that's it for me.
Okay, thank you, and that was well said, well summarized. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Contrary-minded? Motion carried.
Okay. So the last motion we have to put forward is the hiring of our firefighter. Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood award the human resources contract to hire a full firefighter for the Holyrood Fire Department to JW Consulting Associates, based on the call for 3 bids put forth by the Town of Holyrood on Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. To satisfy the Procurement Act and to ensure total transparency of the town, issued a call to 3 consulting firms to complete this piece of business on behalf of the town. All 3 firms submitted a bid, and the above-mentioned firm was the lowest bidder for a cost of $2,000 plus HST, which totals $2,300. So moved.
Okay, moved by Councillor Crawley, seconded by
Councillor Bucko.
Seconded by Councillor Bucko. Further discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Those against? Motion is carried. Okay, is that it for you, Councillor Crawley and Councillor King?
You know what it is, but I didn't even say good evening, and I didn't say Happy New Year, so my apologies. Thank you, Mayor Gooby.
Okay. With that, we will now move on to new business. So I will start with Deputy Mayor Woodford.
Good evening, everyone. I do have a couple of items there that I just want to bring to the public's attention. I guess the first would be the status on the boardwalk, because I know a lot of people are asking about that. That was supposed to be completed in December, pending weather and everything else. But Marjorie provided me with an update today, and I'm just going to give that out to the public. The lumber for the decking has not arrived, so we're waiting on that. Once that decking arrives, it's put in place, and the underground cable for the lights will be done. All the bench pieces are in, and they will be assembled and put in place after the decking and the topsoil is in place. The curb will be completed once the decking sections are completed. And that's spot right to the edge of the decking, so it's important to get a tight fit there. So the deck has to be completed first. The asphalt, of course, won't be completed until the spring when the plants reopen. And the signage, the signature entrance piece that we have, that's going to be the last thing to be installed, so there's no damage done during construction. And if you'll notice, the fencing that was put up there, because the storm took out a lot of that fencing, that's going to be redone and moved in a little bit closer to the boardwalk within the next few days. And the other thing I wanted to let the public know is I received this today from Eastern Health. A lot of people are still waiting to get their booster shots. And there's a clinic that is going to be operating out of Roncalli Central High School in Avondale. And this is for individuals 30 years of age or older that are eligible for the booster shot. So you have to be 22 weeks since your second dose, and over 30, of course. And this is going on at Roncalli. Thursday, January the 13th from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Friday, January the 14th from 9 a.m. to 8. And there is a link there that we're going to put up on our Facebook page and our web page that you have to book your appointment. You can go ahead and book the appointment online for that clinic. Other than that, that's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that important information, Deputy Mayor. Okay, now we'll move on to Councillor Bruce.
Good evening again, Deputy Mayor, Mr. Mayor. Some of the other municipalities had put out suggestions to their residents with regards to leaving their Christmas lights on because of COVID and people stuck in their houses and now at alert level 4. And we also have leaving the lights on at Holyrood Park until the 16th. So it'd be a good idea to encourage residents as well to, I mean, most people got their tree took down now and stuffed back in a box. But, if they're like me with Christmas lights, I usually take mine down probably mid-August. So it'd be nice for people to probably leave their Christmas lights on up until at least the 16th of January. And hopefully on the 17th, things may go back to a little more sense of normality. Anyway, thank you very much.
Okay, that's a good suggestion there, Councillor. Really good. Okay, now we'll move on to Councillor Crawley.
Good evening. The only thing I would like to bring up is that, this is starting to become a little more stressful times again for people, so that there are a number of mental health emergency services available. And I would like to share, so the town can post it online as well, the various phone numbers and websites and apps, the Bridge the Gap app, and a number of other emergency services for people who are feeling a little bit down and feeling the crunch of the new COVID restrictions coming back in again. So I just want to make sure that people know there is help out there. And to protect your mental health, make sure you're getting out and doing something outside of the house, and keep safe. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Councillor Crawley. Councillor Buckle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of points. The first one that I'd like to talk about, maybe we as council can try to reach out and find out. But as most people are aware or in the community, the Royal Bank in Holyrood has been closed for a bit of time now over the last little while. And it's closed now, I think, until January 14th or the 24th. I'm not sure on the date, but there's a sign over saying that shortage of staff. I know the couple of staff that do work over there are working at the CBS branch. But, there's a lot of our residents and seniors in our town that, like to go to the bank and do their banking. And, they don't, some may not drive to CBS and that. But, I think that we as a town should try to reach out to the Royal Bank to see what the plan is there. I know that they had, as I indicated, they had a sign up saying shortage of staff, but we'd like to see that bank, it was in our town. It's the only bank here and it serves not only Holyrood, but all the surrounding areas and St. Mary's Bay that way too. But I think we should probably reach out to see what their plan is, because they did have a sign up that they were going to open in January, and that was extended till the 14th or the 24th. I can't remember the exact date, but I think, we should find out what their plan is there, because, that's a service that, our residents use, and it's the business in our town. So I think that we should probably try to reach out to see what the plan is for the Royal Bank here in Holyrood.
Councillor Buckle, hi, this is Deputy Mayor Woodford. I have reached out to them. They were supposed to open earlier in January, but it is the 24th that they're planning on opening. I was speaking to, I'm not sure what her position is down in Conception Bay South, but she advised me the reason that Holyrood is closed is because a lot of people are taking their annual vacation, and they have to use up so much of their vacation before or they're going to lose it. And they have a lot of people that are on vacation right now, and they're working on a skeleton crew. Because I was concerned as well, because of course you hear rumors that the bank is not opening up in Holyrood, but that's not true. The bank is staying in Holyrood. They are reopening on the 24th right now, pending that all of the annual vacation is used and that people are coming back to work.
Okay, thank you, folks. Councillor Buckley stole my thunder. Actually, I was going to address that as well. In speaking with our MHA's office yesterday on the pothole problem, she did happen to ask me what I knew about the situation over at the bank, in which I had no information to offer. And the only thing that I can say is that the Royal Bank could do a better job in their public relations department. There's customers there from Collier's right to Holyrood, parts of Conception Bay South, and in around St. Mary's. And for those folks, customers, some of them long-serving customers, to probably make that trip from St. Mary's to come to the bank only to find out that there's a sign on the door saying we're closed. And my personal opinion, I don't think that's good enough. I think that they could have communicated a little bit better with their customers in advance, regardless of the situation that caused or precipitated this closure temporarily. But I think that they could have done a better job in communicating with their customers if they want to keep them. I deal with the Royal Bank as well, and I didn't receive anything. I didn't even know about it. So it's disappointing, to say the least, that the bank could just put a sign on the door saying we're closed for business until a certain time. And whatever the internal issues are going on, I think that should be dealt with internally. But in the meantime, there should be a little bit more respect shown to their customers. And that's not being critical, but that's just being realistic in speaking for the customers of the Royal Bank. Anyway,
Mayor Doobie,
yes,
same. It was apparently the same in other towns. Placentia had the same thing. The Royal Bank closed with the exact same situation we have. Just let you know that we're not alone.
Wow. Okay. All right. Anybody else would like to add to that? Okay. If not, is that all your points, Councillor?
No, just one more point then before I pull up on that. I know that it's annual leave and that, but the Royal Bank has been in Holyrood for many of years, and it's the first time I've ever heard the Royal Bank closing because they deal with annual leave and staffing issues. I think they're going to just, I think they owe more to the business and the people that do business at the Royal Bank. And that's my final note on that one. But to move on, no, just to all of our residents, stay safe, and we'll get through this. We've got through the COVID so far, and hopefully that things will look brighter in 2022, but just stay safe with your families for now. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Buckle. Now I'll move on to Councillor Windsor.
Good evening. No new business from me, Mr. Mayor, and great points, by the way, as we went around the room there. All councillors very well thought out, and support you on those points that you made. No new business, but maybe just for awareness, housekeeping item. Myself and Councillor Bruce King will be attending the external Holyrood Marina Corporation Committee meeting tomorrow evening, just for awareness. Nothing further. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. And Councillor King, you can wrap it up.
Well, I'll take this opportunity to wish the council and the staff, all our residents, a happy new year, and ask them to stay as safe as possible. It's not easy during these COVID times. And I'd also like to remind the people once again, if you possibly can, go online and fill in the survey. We all know that Route 60 is in desperate condition. And this is not the first time council has been trying to get something done with Route 60. This has been going on for a number of years, and we don't get any attention at all to get anything done with Route 60. So the more noise we make, the better chance we got of getting something done. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. So people, come on, get it done. Thank you.
Well said there, Councillor King. Well said. Okay, I don't have anything to add other than to once again wish all of our residents a happy and safe New Year, and please God that this COVID will be behind us sooner than later, and we can finally get on with some normalcy in our lives. But until then, be safe in your surroundings. Okay, that is the agenda, and the date of the next public meeting is on February 1st at 5:30 p.m. So could I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Councillor Buckle?
Moved by Councillor Buckle, seconded by
Deputy Mayor.
the Deputy Mayor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all, everyone. Have a good evening and stay safe.